Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the show. This is Jenga Njeru. Now, today we have the Matchmaker show, and you understand the protocol here. Any other time we have a man on board, the man must be looking for a woman. In the same way, when we have a woman on board, that woman must be looking for a man. But because today we have a man, I will tell you the kind of woman he is looking for. But before then, if you're watching us for the first time, this is the Matchmaker show. We help men and women to get matches, and the moment they get the right ones, they meet their destinies, so you're not lost. If you're new to the show, subscribe, like the video, and don't forget to leave a comment. Also, the contact of our guest will be on my Facebook page at Jenganjero. So you can follow Jenganjero on Facebook and you will be getting these updates in real time. Our guest on today's show is a very interesting man and he has a very interesting story. He is a man who has come back from Europe. He comes from Kisii County, but most people assume that when you are abroad or when you are living abroad, probably you come from that country or you are born and raised there. I want to give you a story of his life. Then I will post his contacts on my Facebook page, and then as many as of those who will be interested can get in touch with him. Now, our guest on today's show is Mr. Matthew Makori. Mr. Matthew Makori comes from Kisii County. You could be asking yourself, at the age of 47, why is he single? What kind of a woman is he looking for? And questions like that. One of the most common stories I have heard about divorce, and one of the most rampant cases that are on the rise, is when couples cannot cope with one another because of financial hurdles. You see, when you're having a financial hurdle, when you're having a financial problem, an economic depression, an economic problem, and you cannot be able to provide for your family, and you cannot be able to cater for the needs of your family, the immediate needs. You see, those basic needs like food, shelter, and education. That marriage is just very buoyant, unstable, and it's likely to end any other time soon, depending on how the both of you can carry on. Mr. Makori went to Europe. He went to the UK. You see, there are so many countries in Europe. There is Sweden, there is Denmark, there is the UK, there is France, there is Germany, there is Turkey. There are so many countries that are in the European continent. And when we say Europe, we specify the country. So he was in the UK for 10 years now, and they divorced with the wife in the year 2010. So why was he left? You see, that is also very important because where the reason why one was left or why they parted ways is also important when you're making a decision whether or not you will be interested in the guest. Now, Mr. McCordy says he was living or wallowing in poverty. He was having difficulties raising food for their two children. He was having difficulties paying rent. They were living in Kisii town. He had married a woman from Nyamira County. And you see, when you are in a situation where you cannot raise rent, you cannot buy food, and then even people from the outside will start to incite the other party, because again, you will not be expecting that umepatia wife mimba, amepata mtoto, the wife has a kid, another small kid, so she's trying to raise them. You cannot afford a house girl and you expect her to work. So she will stay at home, look after the kids. And it was difficult for Mr. Makori. So, and then to him, that time, issue to do with house girls or house helps was unheard of. If you cannot raise food, can you be able to pay somebody else? If you cannot pay your own rent, if you're living in a single house, where will that house help live? Okay. And then they sat down and they decided that it was not healthy for the both of them. So that is how he started to plan how he's going to Europe or the US. He was just trying everything from green card to travel and everything. Luckily, 10 years ago, he was fortunate and he was able to travel to Europe, now the UK. He has been working, and it has always been his desire to set up a business. He has always wanted financial freedom. So he is here to settle down. He is not going back to the UK. There are people who do not listen to stories. When I share somebody's life story here, and somebody is like, anipeleke sasa, I also want to go to the UK, I also want this and that, you should know that he is not going back to the UK. No matter how greener those pastures might be, he says that he has gotten enough to start his own business. No matter how small the business will be, he is ready to keep up with that pace. What kind of a woman is he looking for? He is looking for a woman who is, one, God-fearing, and number two, with at least 2 children, at most 2. So if you have one child, no, at most 2 children, at least 1. If you do not have children, you could not be an ideal match, irrespective of your age. But if you have 1 child or 2, irrespective of the agenda, whether they are boys or girls, he's okay with that. But those children should not be past. They should not be past high school. High school and below. High school means from 4 and below. If you have a child in college, no matter how young you are, you see there are people who get children when they are still young. And even when they are at the age of 45, 40 something, their children are already in college. Others have finished college or even university. So if your child or children are in college, you might not be an ideal match for Mr. McCory. Okay, so Bwana Matthew wants somebody who has at least 1 child, at least 1 child, at most 2. So if you're there and you're interested, you will contact him. Another thing, he's looking for a woman who is between the ages of 32 to 45. Reason? Because he would want to add a child. Remember, the first wife, somebody could be asking, what are the chances that they are going back together with the first wife? Chances are nil. Why? Because imagine 2010, they stayed, even, you see, even when you are poor, there are times at least you will be doing something, and even when you are broke, you don't get broke throughout the year unless you are cursed, you see. So or sick. So 2010 started, you see, when you are left because of poverty, you work very hard. It becomes a motivation, it becomes an inspiration. Nevertheless, even after the inspiration and working hard, somebody who raised his own ticket, somebody who raised his own, and you see, when you're going there, you have to raise a return ticket, because it is not a work visa, you see, it was like a visit visa. So you have to raise a double ticket, a return ticket, you see. And he raised it on his own. That man, that's how it took him 4 years. They divorced 2010. 2014 was when he went to the UK. So at one point or another, he was having some money. If there were chances that they could go back with the wife, they would have gone. You understand? So, and the wife moved on, they parted ways, got married by somebody else, and he symbolically donated those children. Those children now belong to another man, because kazi sio kuzaa, kazi ni kulea. That is why you should never be a deadbeat. I'm not calling him a deadbeat. He is not one. It's just that if that woman was still single and if that woman was still single and he did not chip in raising them, he would have been a deadbeat. You cannot be getting children and leaving women or men to struggle. One parent should not be struggling with children to raise them for whatever reason, and the father or the other parent is just swimming in abundance. Okay, so I asked him, are there chances that you and your former wife are going to get back together? He said no. He respects that family, and on the grounds, he had not taken anything. He had not visited the girl's wife and things like that. So the girl's family, not the girl's wife. Sorry. So I know that he is not going to be getting back with the wife. So we are wishing him well, hoping he gets a good match from our show. So we said he's not going back to the UK. Have you subscribed to this YouTube channel? Check whether you have. Enable the notifications bell. Give this video a like. No watching without liking. And if you also want to be posted, if you also want to be part of this, part of the 500 marathon that we are marching this December alone, today's Jamhuri, happy Jamhuri. So get in touch with my team on 0712 997 660 or +254 712 997 660. Until then, this is Jenganjero. See you.